Welcome to another episode of Be Tailored, where we're going to be working on the Teal 240 once again. No surprise, we haven't been able to get this thing running correctly yet. We've done a lot of things so far: install wiring, mechanical, suspension, engine, interior. We're like this close, yet like this far away, it feels like. We know the engine runs and starts. I started it just to see if it would run for a little bit and turned it immediately off, didn't go any farther past that. Well, last night I decided to tinker around with it for a little bit and see how it would run for longer than a few seconds. After initial startup, the idle gets really lopey, it's running really rough, and the AFR is at around 17. That's insanely rich. Now the idle sits around 1,000 RPMs, and when I decide to lightly tap on the accelerator, the AFRs drop and the revs hang at about 2.5 grand and then slowly come back down. When I decide to push the throttle a little harder, just a little more tap, let off the throttle, the revs climb up to 4 grand and stay there. No throttle input from me. And they stayed there for about like 5 seconds until I decide to turn the car off. I didn't even have time to look at the AFRs because I'm like, what is going on? So today we're going to be doing a little troubleshooting. I've been talking with a few of my friends and we seem to think it's a fuel related problem. Maybe we're not getting enough fuel pressure, maybe some wiring's not right. It could be some kind of vacuum issue, but that seems a little less likely, so we're just going to try a few different things and go from there, and hopefully maybe we'll get this car running today. I don't know. To be honest, I really just want this car to start running. I've put in so much time and effort and resources. I'm just getting a little discouraged and a little burnt out. Literally the only thing I've been doing for the past 2 months has been work on the car, go to school, do homework, go to work, come back, work on the car. A few nights ago I stayed up until like 5 a.m., literally 5 a.m. working on this car. So, I just want to see some reward from all this effort I put into this thing, and maybe we'll see it today, maybe we won't. I'm just like, I feel like I'm getting the full effect of owning a 240. Even though I've owned my 240 for 5 years now, I feel like, Carol, you just gave me way less problems. And I never fully appreciated you for that. And I'm sorry. I don't trust you yet. It'll take me a long time until I ever do. If we ever get you running, so, rant's over, let's get to work. So after thinking it might be fuel related, I decided to check the voltage going from the harness to the relay that we have hooked up here. And we seem to be getting the 12 volts that we need to, so no problems there. I then decided to check the throttle position sensor on the SR20 and see if we're still at that 0.44 volts at closed throttle and 4 volts at wide open throttle. So this little sensor is the one we want to check. I took a voltmeter and put my negative in this top port here, and then put my positive lead into the second little port there. So to my surprise, when I hooked up my voltmeter, I was getting about 0.77 volts at closed throttle. So I went ahead and adjusted that back to 0.44 volts, put it to wide open throttle, and we got about 4 volts, which is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna fire this thing up and see if it made any difference. Here we go. That wasn't good. Still running extremely lean. So apparently that didn't fix my problem. Let's see what else we can do. So one thing I decided to try is unplug the MAF and see how the engine runs without that. When I unplugged it, the AFR has dropped from 15, 16 down to 10, so I have no idea what that means. But we know it does something. I'm not sure if maybe the MAF's bad, or maybe our tune got wiped out from the repair, or from the battery being no power hooked up to the ECU for so long. I have no idea, guys. But the idle still runs the same, doesn't die out or anything when I unplug the MAF, but the AFR has definitely dropped, so, you know, just trying little bits of things at a time to see if we can make a difference. But I think my buddy Chase is going to come down with a fuel pressure gauge, and we're going to test the fuel pressure into the rail so that we can make sure we're getting the correct amount of fuel, just to be sure that it's nothing fuel related. Just for clarification, I am running a Z32 N62 MAF with some 550 injectors running an RS enthalpy tune. RS enthalpy has great tunes. They're the best substitute for a standalone ECU for Nissans. Martin's very good at answering any questions I have when I run into problems, so if we can't figure this out, I might shoot him another email and see if we can figure out what's going on. So unfortunately I didn't film any of it because we were trying to get a lot of things done, but my friend Chase did come over with a fuel gauge, and the fuel tested out really good. We were at like, I want to say 42 constant at idle. And so it's a really good sign there. The fuel system seems to be in order. The injectors seem to be okay. We pulled each one and I think there was a little hesitation in all of them, so that's a good sign. We did find something inside the throttle body. I'm not going to go into details, but when you get new parts, make sure all the packaging is cleared out. So there's a headache there, but she idles really well at about 1,000 RPM. I don't mind it being a little higher, but the AFRs are still sitting around 17, which is extremely lean at idle. When you try to bring the revs up a little bit, it still stays really lean. Comes up to like 16 AFR, still nowhere near ideal. At this point I'm not really sure. I think I'm just gonna email Martin and tell him what's going on, and then hopefully he might have an answer. I wonder if it's tune related. When I got in the collision, maybe it wiped the tune, or maybe when he repaired the ECU, maybe it wiped the tune. I have no idea. I can't say for sure. I don't even know if it's tune related, so we're just kind of trying different options here in troubleshooting, and troubleshooting is one of the things that I hate the most. I don't think anybody likes to troubleshoot. I think we're just gonna have to go from there. I may end this video right now, so if you guys have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I always love hearing your feedback. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you hit that red button to stay along with the build, and take it easy. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.